Good evening. Welcome to Elyria City Council meeting for Monday, April 7th, 2025. At this time, we'll take a moment of reflective silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Lippian, would you please lead us in the pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Mr. Lippian. Out of respect of the council chambers, I'd ask that you turn your phones either off or on the silent mode during the meeting. Ms. Clerk, I have roll call, please.
Yes, sir. Mr. Callahan.
Here.
Mr. Sierra.
Here.
Mr. Armstrong.
Here.
Mr. Oswald.
Here.
Mrs. Mitchell.
Here.
Mr. Tollett.
Here.
Mr. Lippian.
Here.
Mrs. Sawerka.
Here.
Mrs. Davis. Mr. Schneider.
Here.
Mr. Stewart.
Here.
We have one absent, and I do have an excuse here for Mrs. Davis.
Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
Question.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Public hearings.
There are none.
Can I get approval of the minutes?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Sarah,
Second.
second by Ms. Mitchell. Is there any further discussion?
Question.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Remarks and reports from city officials. Mayor Brubaker.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I just feel the need to publicly thank you. You got the information in regards to the two big grants we got last week. $325,000 from ODNR for the West Rec All-Inclusive Park Playground, as well as the $130,000 from the Ohio Recycle Grant to help us fund the compost facility. The compost facility grant was facilitated by Macaulay and Company, but spearheaded by Assistant Safety Service Director Strozak, which is going to alleviate some financial pressures within the sanitation department, because as we know, that funds the compost facility. But the bigger picture is the $325,000 grant. Neither one of these grants did we think we were going to get. But to get that grant, we were already going to do the all-inclusive park. That was a part of the Issue 6 park programming through the 2016 0.5%, not the Issue 6 as we're learning. But we're now able to reallocate those dollars to help fund, finish off the funding for the Pocket Park over there on 15th and West Avenue. Both of those bids, both times we put them out, came in 20% over the engineer's cost, which we had to put it out again for a bid, and the second time it came back that way as well. So we were looking at putting in a grant to help us fund that Pocket Park. Now we'll be able to reallocate those funds from the 2016 parks part of that over to the Pocket Park. So again, kudos to Mr. Strozak for the compost facility and Director Reardon for thinking ahead on the ODNR grant at West Rec. And I'm open for any questions.
Good. Any questions for the mayor? Thank you, Mayor. Safety Service Director, Mr. Pianowski.
Thank you, through you. Last week, Thursday and Friday, we had our site visit with our ambulance feasibility study consultants. It went very well. The company's name is Fitch & Associates. I was very impressed. Both of the assessors have a background, I believe, as retired firefighters and now work in this line of business, and one is the COO of an ambulance company in Florida that was, they had a lot of knowledge. I thought their questions and their direction was very good. We met with the administration, with fire department leadership, with Life Care, with 911. We did some site visits at all the fire stations. We met with the medical director for the fire department and for Life Care. A lot of good information was exchanged. We're waiting to gather some additional data that was identified during the course of the site visit, and that will be provided to them. I thought it went exceptionally well, and I was impressed with the group. So that's step one, and when we start getting some time frames, I'll make you aware of those, but that first step has been undertaken, and it was very successful. And I'm here for any questions if you have them.
Any questions for the Safety Service Director? Ms. Sawarka?
Thank you, through you. Probably about a month and a half ago, when we were talking about the budget, we asked about putting a pause on equipment purchases and backfill of employees, and if we could get an update maybe at the next Finance Committee meeting on where those two items stand.
Certainly.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Very good. Finance Director Pulaski.
Thank you, Mr. President. So the first quarter of 2025 is now in the books. And if you recall, in January, we started with a 3-payday month. Started the year with 3 pays in January. So that month, we dropped about $1.2 million in cash in the general fund. Since then, we've rebounded a little bit. So through the first 3 months, we're down $816,283. So not quite as bad as what I thought it was going to be. Income tax revenues are coming in pretty good. They're actually up 8% through March. So we're still on the wrong side of the equation. I don't like them brackets and parentheses around the numbers, but not as bad as I thought. So.
Any questions for the Finance Director? Thank you. Law Director Deary.
Good evening, through you, Mr. President. Attorney Stephen Friedman is here this evening. I would request, should it suit counsel, an executive session to discuss pending litigation. Thank you.
Very good. Elyria Police Department, Chief Welsh, welcome and congratulations.
Am I live? Good evening, Mr. President, Mayor, City Council, citizens of Elyria. Since this is my first council meeting, I wanted to introduce myself and give you a little update on the police department and what we're doing moving forward. First, I want to introduce myself. My name is James Welsh. I was sworn in as the police chief last Monday, March 31st. Just a little bit about me. I'm a graduate of Elyria Catholic. I served active duty in the U.S. Air Force, and I've been a police officer for the past 26 years with the city of Elyria. I've worked with many council members at various times throughout my career based on the different positions that I've served in the patrol, narcotics, and investigations, and most recently as the patrol commander and captain of the patrol division, as well as the traffic unit. I'm thankful for the many opportunities that I've had during my career as an Elyria police officer, but none more than the opportunity to stand before you tonight as your police chief. I want the citizens of Elyria to know that my primary goal every day will be to lead the brave men and women of our police force in an effort to make our schools, roads, and highways safer, target drug dealers, reduce violent crime. Just as important to me, I want to build trust within our community through transparency and through positive community engagement. Last week, I sent you all a resource guide that details the restructuring of the command staff and staffing at the police department. And I wanted to discuss that a little bit in detail. Captain Grooms will take over my former role as the patrol commander and traffic unit commander. We will continue to staff the traffic unit, which is necessary to answer citizens' requests for traffic and parking enforcement, as well as reduce motor vehicle crashes. I'm happy to report that over a 3-year period, traffic citations have increased 120%, and in that same time, crashes were reduced by 18%. Last year, we had 957 motor vehicle crashes in the city of Elyria, which is the lowest reported number that I'm aware of in several years. Our patrol division and traffic unit issued 5,596 traffic citations and 479 parking tickets in 2024. Most of those are generated through citizens' complaints and complaints through city council. Last year, I also helped revitalize the Neighborhood Impact Unit, which focuses on gang and gun activity while fostering partnerships with the community. We use grant funding from the NOVCC Project Safe Neighborhoods to fund NIU as an overtime detail. During the past 6 months, NIU operated part-time, but the officers' production was very high. NIU made 113 arrests, seized 7 guns, and seized over 100 grams of cocaine, fentanyl, and methamphetamines. I will continue to apply for grant funding to reduce overtime costs associated with the NIU, but if that isn't available, I will seek creative ways to work within my budget to continue to staff the Neighborhood Impact Unit. Their work that is much needed to reduce violent crime, especially with the warmer months to come. Eric Palmer was promoted to captain last Monday. Captain Palmer will lead our services division, which handles the budget, purchasing, hiring, recruitment. Currently, we have 82 sworn police officers. However, we only have 76 sworn officers working without restrictions. 4 are in field training, which include the 3 that just graduated from the police academy, and 2 are on restrictions due to injury status. It is extremely important that we continue to recruit and hire sworn officers in preparation for annual retirements and/or unexpected resignations. On March 17th and 18th, we had our outside CALEA assessment. For those of you that are unaware, CALEA is an accreditation authority that requires law enforcement organizations to benchmark and report on standards signifying a commitment to professional excellence. There's less than 10% of law enforcement agencies nationwide that are CALEA accredited. EPD is one of them. We have not received a full report as of yet, but our assessor said that we are fantastic during our on-site assessment, which was great to hear from a third-party expert. If approved, we will receive the award in August in Little Rock, Arkansas at the CALEA conference. The joint training facility is a work in progress and located behind CMG. Sewer and utilities are in progress. Once the architecture is finished and utilities are completed, the next phase will be construction of the training buildings. We had to reduce the footprints in one of the buildings due to increase in building costs since the initial project was approved. However, that did not cause any loss of function. All funding for the project is in place, and we are looking forward to construction and finalization of the training facility. Today, we had 2 promotions. Lieutenant Aaron Varga was promoted to lieutenant. Josh Vaca was promoted to sergeant. Sergeant Varga will be assigned to the night shift patrol unit in the patrol division. Lieutenant Varga was my administrative sergeant while I served as a patrol commander over the past 2 years. Many of you know Aaron Varga from the many special events and parades that he planned for the city. Lieutenant Varga has a new role moving forward, and it will be the Office of Professional Standards. Officer safety and community trust go hand in hand. To keep officers safe, we need the trust and respect of the community. That starts with how we treat citizens, which should be nothing less than with dignity and respect. I will dedicate resources to make sure this happens. Our officers of professional standards, amongst other things, will investigate and make recommendations on allegations of courtesy violations and police misconduct. Earning the trust and support of the community is something that is extremely important to me, and this will help achieve those goals. Captain Bill Lance will continue to lead the investigative division and the Narcotics Bureau, which is directly supervised by Sergeant Eric Grove. We've seen a decrease in shootings recently. When we have non-fatal shootings, we utilize the same resources as we do for homicide investigations. The intelligence gathered from those investigations provide critical leads that link offenders to other crimes, enhancing overall efforts to reduce violent crime. We had 10 non-fatal shootings in 2024 that led to 11 arrests. Homicides were down 50% from 4 in '23 to 2 in '24. We continue to be creative with technology, which includes drones, flock cameras, license plate readers, and digital forensics in an attempt to reduce crime. I spent many years working undercover narcotics, and I have a lot of experience in that field. We will step up our drug enforcement efforts immediately and target drug dealers in our community. Last Friday, April 4th, we had a standoff with an armed man who had federal arrest warrants. He barricaded himself in a home in the 800 block of South Logan. The situation ended peacefully, which not many do. I'd like to acknowledge the bravery and professionalism of my staff for their efforts in ending this standoff peacefully. I'd also like to thank you for approving the purchase of our Lenco Bearcat, our armored SWAT vehicle. This is an intimidating piece of equipment, and it allows additional protections for officers with boots on the ground, but it also serves as the lowest level of force. Often, the Bearcat's mere presence is enough to gain compliance, and it worked perfectly on Friday, so I thank you for your support. My short-term strategic plan is to staff our department to 90 sworn officers. This will allow us to continue to roll out specialty units such as the Traffic Division, Neighborhood Impact, and Narcotics Unit. We have already discussed the Officer Professional Standards, which will dedicate resources to improve trust within the community. I also want to step up our community engagement efforts and continue to build rapport with our print and news media. I am also looking to update and renovate the police department, which is now 26 years old. Training and mentoring officers is very important to me. We now have state-of-the-art virtual reality software through Axon, which is the company that makes our body cameras and dash cameras in our patrol cars. I have a plan to renovate new training area within our patrol division that will make our officers better trained, which will reduce complaints and liability. I'm also looking at cost-effective ways to redesign our marked fleet by adding new decals, making our vehicles more visible and identifiable. I want to unify the police department in a way that hasn't always existed over the course of my career. I want to focus on officer wellness and continue to look for ways to keep my staff operationally capable, not only physically, but mentally and emotionally. The improved physical and mental health of officers can lead to enhanced job performance, lower health care and workers' compensation costs, and better public safety. Additionally, the wellness program contributes to higher morale and retention rates, which further reduce the cost of hiring and training new officers. At some point in the near future, I'd like to explore a canine program. Canines are great for community engagement, and we routinely call for mutual aid from neighboring agencies to track and search for suspects and for evidence. We are a large enough department that we should have those resources in-house. We will do the research to find out if the cost of the canine program would benefit the department and the city in the future. Lastly, I want to thank you for your support of the Elyria Police Department and for me. I look forward to working with you, Mayor Brubaker, and his staff to make the city a safer place to live, work, and visit. At this point, I'll answer any questions you may have.
Well, I could say, just a comment, Chief, just your commitment over the many years that you served, coming up through the ranks, and the commitment and dedication you've given us. We're looking forward to your leadership in this new role that you're going to be encountering. It sounds like you have a lot of plans that you're looking to implement, so we look forward to you working with you here in the near future over and through there. With that being said, does anybody have any comments for the chief? Mr. Armstrong.
Through you, President, thank you. I just want to say congratulations. I've seen you work a long time. Nobody else deserves this position right now because we do have a lot of things that I'm very excited that you are in charge, especially the NIU. And you know, we worked through this past year and there's been things me and you've had conversations about. And I cannot wait to really start getting them things done. So congratulations, Chief.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Anybody else? Ms. Sawerka, and then we'll go to Mr. Lippian, and then Mr. Schneider.
Congratulations, through the president. Congratulations, I've already sent you a congratulatory note. You are going to serve with distinction, I am sure. Congratulations on the CALEA. I was involved the last time when we did that for the first time and went to New Rhode Island and were informed, so that is a huge accomplishment. Thank you so much for the sheet with all the information on it. It's very helpful. I hope that we can get to 91, and anything that we can do to try to get you to 91, I'm committed to. So continued success.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Lippian?
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you, Chief, I'd like to congratulate you. It's really gratifying to see a fellow Air Force vet rise to this position and to have watched the cream rise to the top throughout your time in charge of the Traffic Patrol Division. You were so responsive. You were so ready to go out and kill the mission every time I emailed you, and it's no surprise you ended up as chief. So I'm excited to work with you, and if you get to 90 officers, my million-dollar question is, what are your thoughts about a potential future K-9 unit?
So I can tell you this much, there's a lot of members of the police department that would be ecstatic to have canines. I think the community, not for what they do operationally, they're just, you know, a very good way to interact with the community in a positive way. People love animals, they love dogs, so, but I think operationally, and I take back to when I used to work narcotics. I always wanted to do wire investigations in-house, but we never had the equipment to do it. We never had the cars to do it. We never had the communication to do it, but we found a way, and Ms. Sawerka was a big help to that because I took over narcotics when she was a safety director. But we found a way to be able to do that in-house, and we didn't have to go to Lorain PD. We didn't have to go to the sheriff's department and ask for equipment and ask for help. We came up with a plan, figured a way to pay for it, and we implemented it. And, you know, as a police officer, I'm really good putting people in jail, but I have to work on the whole budgeting and purchasing thing. And with my friends Ted and John over there, they're going to put me in the right direction with that. So, if it makes sense and it makes us better, I want to do it. And I think that I would like to get a canine program started, and I think it's something that could not only benefit the department, but it'll benefit the city and the citizens as a whole.
Good. Anybody else? Mr. Tolet? Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Schneider, then Mr. Tolet.
Congratulations, Chief, and thank you for your years of service. Many of my colleagues have already echoed what I was going to say, including Mrs. Sawerka. I just wanted to thank you. This was very helpful to have the directory with the roles, and it was also emailed to us, which is extremely helpful so we can save it, you know, to our computers and such. So good luck.
Good. Mr. Tolet?
Through you, one of the things that you brought up tonight is the use of the new, I hate to call it assault vehicle. What's the term for it?
Yeah, it's called the Bearcat. It's just an armored SWAT vehicle.
You know, when those requests are brought to us, none of it, we don't know what they do. All we know, they protect our officers and allow engagement with the bad guy. And so we take the word of the chief, and it's so awesome to hear that it was used with no shots being fired, no one being hurt. So again, thank you. I think that's a huge part of that vehicle, and keep up. It made me so happy to watch you on TV. You were cool, calm, collected, and you did a good job with that, just so you know.
I have a face for radio. No, in all seriousness, it's you're not supposed to know. It's my job as the chief to educate you why we need the equipment and personnel that we need, and that's partly what I wanted to do here today in my first council meeting. But yes, that piece of equipment, it's a show of force without actually putting our hands on the bad guys. And on Friday, it worked perfectly. We got instant compliance, and I couldn't be more happier, not only for the equipment, but, for our tactical officers that were on scene, along with our hostage negotiators and our patrol division and support staff that were there that brought that situation to a peaceful end. But that equipment and your support was instrumental in that being a safe outcome.
Well, congratulations.
Thank
It was
you.
awesome.
Ms. Mitchell?
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you, Chief, congratulations. Regarding the FBI facility that is going to be behind CMC, I would just ask that you all please remember the noise factor. I get so many complaints, well, not so many, but I do get complaints about the noise. And I know that we're supposed to have the barriers, so if we could just be mindful of that people do live around there and it is loud. So thank you for that.
Mr. Oswald?
What he was
Oh,
gonna-
oh, I'm sorry. My apologies.
Sorry, Mr. President. No, yes, we want to be good neighbors. We are looking to make that as soundproof as we possibly can and limit the hours in which we do qualify and utilize the range. There's specific timeframes that'll be, daylight hours, so as to not interfere with, evening hours and sleep hours and things like that. We're going to do the best we can. We'll try to put out a schedule that I can provide to you. But obviously understand things change, and there's going to be unexpected training days that we're going to have to incorporate based on weather and things like that. But again, we're going to be good neighbors, and we're going to do our best to, it's an important facility for us. It's a cost effect that will allow us to not send officers on the road, which will increase our training costs. We can house things, here. We don't have to travel to different ranges locally, but I do understand and sympathize with neighbors who don't want to hear that, and I give you my word, we'll be good neighbors and do the best that we can.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you, real quick. If not, I'll call you.
I'm sure you will. I'll answer, I promise.
Mr. Oswald?
Through you, Mr. President. So I did get to sit in it when you guys first got it, and it was pretty cool. My buddy showed me the one that Lorraine has, and it looks like my baby truck that I drive. But anyhow, the question was where you guys were going to end up storing it. Do you have some down-the-road plans on where you're going to put it and things like that? Thank you.
Sure, thank you. We're storing it at the police department in one of our garages right now, and it's working fine.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't sit outside, and I make sure it's clean every time they use it.
Good, very good. Well, very good. Welcome again, we appreciate it. Look forward to working with you. Thanks, Chief.
Thanks for your time, thank you.
Yes. Your Fire Department, Chief Pernesti. Any questions for the chief? Good. City Engineer, Mr. Schneider.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you, we're getting close to starting some construction this year. We did have one project start as far as a TLCI. That's a sidewalk project that was right out front of City Hall here. As part of that project as well, they are doing a couple crosswalks. One was over on East Avenue, which is complete, and I don't know if it's open up yet, but if it isn't open up today, it'll be open up in the next day or two. There's another one also being installed on Broad Street over by the Foundry. That will be closed here Wednesday, and that'll probably be about a week closure total in order to complete that work. Our concrete contractor from last year for the street resurfacing, he is starting to engage and going out and measuring and marking up concrete streets that they didn't complete last year. So you'll see them out there, and they're basically looking at the weather right now before they get started too much. But that's all I have to report as of right now.
Very good. Mr. Schneider?
through you, Mr. President, to Engineer Schneider. Has there been any update on the grant money for the walks around the Hilltop Burns Road region?
The only update I've received so far is from the state that they essentially pushed back the award until sometime this month. They didn't give an exact date. If there's something out there, they're supposed to let us know soon. It sounded like this is the only round they're going to be doing because they must have had a very good turnout as far as projects turned in and as well as funding, so.
Thank you.
Ms. Sawerka, and then Ms. Mitchell.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. President. 2 questions. Nothing from the railroad on the East Bridge? Anything?
Nothing lately. The only thing that the consultant who is doing the design work, they were out there a month or 2 ago doing borings, so they were out there taking soil samples up by the abutments, so it sounds like it's still moving forward, just haven't heard exactly, any dates yet from them.
And then my second question, and I did send an email to you and Kathy about the status of the outflow sewer by the gas station at 4th Street, and whether that had been fixed, and I did not get an answer. And when we got the torrential rain the other day, it reminded me of the last time we had a torrential rain, and we basically had to have rowboats on 4th Street, 5th Street, Middle Avenue, the alley. So if you could take a look at that and give me an update, or give us an update, I should say, of when that's going to get repaired, because apparently it has not been repaired yet.
I do believe there was a problem with one of the manholes as well, that it was plugged, and they did clean that out before, but yes, I will look into that.
Good. Ms. Mitchell.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you, not a question for Mr. Snyder, just a comment. If you've not gotten your street list into engineering, please do so as soon as possible. Thank you.
Any other comments to Mr. Schneider? All right. Thank you, Mr. Schneider. I believe that's everybody. President's referrals and remonstrances. Item number 1, community development. Item number 2, community development. Item number 3, community development. Item number 4, community development. Item number 5, community development. Item number 6, community development. Item number 7, community development. Item number 8, community development finance. Item number 9, community development and finance. Item number 10, finance. Item number 11, finance. Item number 12, finance and utilities. Item number 13, finance and utilities. Item 14, finance and utilities. Item 15, utilities. Item 16, utilities. Item 17, received and placed on file in the clerk's office. Petitions and remonstrances from the lobby.
We have a few. Probably going to butcher this, but Kevy Sinkos, 951 Gulf Road, Elyria. Subject is tree removal on property.
Welcome. Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Kevy Chiricos. I'm at 951 Gulf Road.
If you could pull the mic down so they can speak into the mic, there you go.
I'm a little short.
It's okay, you'll do fine.
Okay. So I just have a small problem that I've had for the few years that I've lived at the house. There's just been trees that are not actually on my property, but it's causing foundation damage, lifting my driveway. I've had to repair my car, my roof, little things like that. I've spoken to the neighbors about going in half to remove the trees, to do whatever I needed to do to help. They just refuse any type of tree removal. I'm exhausting all my options. I've contacted the city. I've emailed everybody. I have an attorney. I've had sent a certified notice. They're just saying that they financially cannot do it. But I have witnessed they're purchasing vehicles, putting on decks, and having furniture delivered. So I just feel like it's not a priority. And I feel like I don't, even though I have the legal means to like remove it off my property and maybe remove the roots, but if it kills the trees, which have already been one deemed dead and the other one's deemed dying, that I could be legally accountable to the death of these trees. So I feel like I'm just kind of running in circles, and I just need some help.
Sure. I just want to make sure that I understood this correctly. So this is on private property? It's not in the city's right-of-way?
No, it's not. It's my neighbor's property, but it's like so close to mine, it's causing a lot of damage.
Yeah, unfortunately, I would think that this is more of a civil
civil
matter
thing.
that you need to kind of work through, over that it's unfortunate that you can't work together. You're willing to extend that outreach to kind of work through that. I wish there was something more that we could do over and through, but
I do have one question. I had a
Yes.
friend that had the same issue, and she said the city actually did it about 5 years ago, come out and remove the trees, and then sent the neighbors the bill. When I called and talked to the city, they said they don't remember ever doing anything like that. This is a lady from my church, and she said they absolutely did step in and help her. I do have an attorney, but like, you can't do anything basically until the tree falls on my house, or if I want to sue for all the damages that it's already causing. It's just, I was just hoping that there would be something more that the city would hold us accountable for neglect of property.
very good. Well, I think what we can do is, you know, I don't think there's, from the city's aspect, what we could do, I think maybe, maybe we can just stop by. I'll stop by and come take a look at it, everything, and just kind of see what other options that you have over and through there to see if we can't. But from the city's standpoint, I don't think there's anything more that we can do from there.
I understand.
Mr. Worker, did you want to weigh in on something?
Through you, are there electrical lines near the trees?
Their trees, and I'm having my personal tree already cut down this week, but their trees are through the electrical lines a little bit. The city came out and trimmed it, but I mean, it's
So,
pretty well through it.
Right, so that would be.
Yeah, that would be, perhaps when Mr. Stewart takes a look at Ohio Edison, we can contact them
Right.
to have them take a look at it.
And we can do that. We could, whether it's through me or whether it's through the Safety Service Director's office, they can go ahead and kind of coordinate with that, with our First Energy or the Ohio State representative to come take a look at it and see if there's a way that we can work through there, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you so
Very
much.
good. Yep, good luck to you.
Kathleen Byer, 3601 Elizabeth Drive, Vermillion. Subject is looks like charter change, or city charger.
Welcome. Please state your name and address for the record.
Kathleen Byer, 3601 Elizabeth Drive, Vermillion, Ohio. Yeah, I'm coming here tonight to talk about your guys' charter. This was brought up 3 months ago by Councilman Andrew Lippian, but I want to bring it up tonight as well. 3 months ago, back in October, Elyria Municipal charged the Lorraine County prosecutor with 3 felonies to complain, for 3 felonies for hearing. Hold on. When your charter says 7.03, council may from time to time provide for such assistance and special counsels to the city law director as it shall deem necessary. Your law director, Amanda Deary, did not come to council to hire a special prosecutor to prosecute then County Prosecutor J.D. Tomlinson. She did not have the authority to hire Ron O'Brien. And then when it even comes to the authority of it, when I pulled the bill, you guys got a $10,000 discount for this case, which I find a little suspect because at the time, 3 months ago, Andrew Lippian, asked, he said, why, for one, were these charges filed in municipal court? They're felony charges. Not really appropriate. I would like to know how many felony charges in 2024 were filed in Elyria Municipal Court in general. That's a public request right now. He also asked her, was this, I think he implied, was this a little politicized because it did get national attention, it's still getting national attention, and was it politically motivated? And at the time she said no. She said, I have to do my due diligence here, but my problem here is it was already filed in Lorraine County Common Pleas. 2 cases in July of 2024 were filed. One was to assign a special prosecutor to investigate the prosecutor himself, and the other charge in Lorraine County Common Pleas was for these 3 kind of felonies, similar to these 3 felony charges that were filed, but it's under seal, so nobody could really talk about it. Well, then later, it just, kind of seems a little suspicious, and, it's filed a week before early voting starts in Elyria Municipal. My problem too is, Amanda, at the time, you brought up to Andrew oath of office. You have an oath of office, you have a duty to do it. But when I asked you, I emailed you at that time for Ron O'Brien's oath of office, because acting as a public official, you have to have under Ohio Revised Code an oath of office. He did not have one. According to the billings, you recused yourself as well. I need to bring that up. You recused yourself because she said she had a conflict of interest, but the emails that I have, and I have a lot of them, which you guys will all be receiving tonight, you were involved throughout the entire court process. You have emails back and forth with you and Ryan O'Brien.
Ms. Byer, if I could, is it Byer? Is that how it's pronounced right
Yeah,
now?
Byer.
Okay, so we have a 3-minute rule that we have for our council. So
Did I
we would
request
have-
you extend?
We would have to have an extension for another 2 minutes.
I have just a couple more things I want to cover, and I'm done.
Council President, since my name was invoked, I'll go ahead and motion.
There's a motion by Mr. Lippian.
Second.
Second, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Go ahead.
Thank you. I forget where I was at, but they filed charges the week before. That politicized this completely and weaponized it. The charges were already being heard not only by the Lorraine County Common Pleas, but by the Attorney General. The State of Ohio auditors was doing an investigation on this. And I want to bring up the auditor's investigation because I just received a document from them that your safety director, Pianowski, is the only person giving firsthand, and I don't know if you personally, but whoever wrote the letter to the state auditor's office, you're the only one listed with firsthand knowledge against JD about how Battistelli was treated in that office, which I find that very suspect. It would have cost Elyria citizens $37,000. It didn't, because you guys received a discount. Now, I have a problem with the discount because one invoice says that you received a $10,000 discount. That would bring it down to $27,000. Well, on the invoice, it's $20,000. So really, the discount would be $17,000. And Ron O'Brien was a special prosecutor in Lorraine against Lorraine County Commissioners as well. And there's no discount for any of their billings for their services. And it kind of looks horrible. And this is my last thing I want to inform all of you. It's part of a larger investigation, and it is being looked into. And it is going to still continue to receive national attention. And you as council are responsible, or the fiduciary are responsible for looking over, your director's fiduciary, issues. And your charter is very clear that it is your guys' responsibility to approve a special prosecutor coming in. And, nationally, we're getting attention that special prosecutors are brought in to go after political opponents.
Ms. Byer, your 2 minutes are up.
Thank you. To go after
So-
political opponents, and this is an example on a smaller level of
Ms.
a
Byer,
smaller government going after political
Ms. Byer,
opponents.
thank you for your
Thank you.
your
Going after,
comments.
I have 2 seconds.
No,
Going
yeah.
after political
I've given
opponents.
you 2 minutes.
On behalf of the sheriff and others. Thank you. Oh, that's another thing. Nobody in Elyria Police Department was involved in this case. Only the county officials. That's also suspect. Have a good night.
David J. Moore, 173 Turnus Lane, Elyria. Update on Port Authority.
Welcome. Please state your name and address for the record.
I am David Moore, 226 Middle Avenue, right across the street. I'm your Lorraine County Commissioner. And dealing with 11 versus 3, it must be very difficult for you guys. So I do enjoy being your county commissioner. I want to give you an update on what's been going on. I've been working with the mayor of the city here. We've formed a lot of great partnerships over the last 2 years. VIA has been a home run. I think you've read about it. I remember meeting with Councilman Armstrong at an event at the Second Harvest, and we talked quite a bit about the needs in the community. Mayor Brubaker stepped up and with the mayor of Lorraine, and we had a fantastic teamwork and partnership. And now that the year's coming up in July, we've approached both the cities to say, will you partner with us financially? And I'm hoping that we can continue that partnership, because based on all the data that we've had, This is probably one of those things that I started working on 24 years ago when I was commissioner, and when, like government, we're hitting brick walls. This thing took 90 days to kick off, and we knew within 90 days after that, it was a huge success. There's a lot going on in Lorraine County. The Midway Mall, you guys might have heard about that a couple years ago. We are currently in contract, the Port Authority is. They are moving forward with some due diligence now. This happened last week. It's bringing about 500 to 600 jobs to Elyria. We are now looking at another 2,000 jobs that will be coming supporting Ford. We just found this out today. With all the development going on with the EV plant, which is going to be we're going to be expanding it and doing it more as a different form of plant because of all the stuff that's going on with EV. But there's still positive energy that's coming out on the eastern side of this county. We also are working with a mega site just south of here in New Russia Township. We're looking at what that means is probably 5,000 jobs. In fact, we were this close from getting Micron to compete with Intel. And why? Because we have an affordable housing, we have a great workforce, we have Lorraine County Community College, which 20 years ago, we created Glide, which creates this cutting edge technology, because back then, 24 years ago, this new thing called the internet was coming out. And so now, because of that work, that foundation, this county is one of the fastest growing counties in the state of Ohio. In fact, I believe we're either number 1 or number 2. So as a county commissioner, and our board has been working with mayors such as Brubaker and Bradley, and we've been forming partnerships financially. Because it's hard, as you guys know, with our budgets. We're getting the same crunch you're getting. And we're already worried about 26 and 27. And so just to let you know, by what we're working on is the 6119, which may not think, okay, what's that do to us? That's the sewer projects we're working on. We're actually going to be going in the next 60 days, and we're either going to get $15 million, which is I'm not happy with. I want $175 million with the future fund that's down there. There's a lot of politics being played in Columbus. I don't like what's going on in Columbus, but that's what happens when there's a lot of money. And so we are doing our best to get that. Now, I've been in housing since 1986. And what's going on and I used to own a lot of rentals in Elyria. I love Elyria. And I've sold them all. And the reason why is because
Morrow.
of the shortage. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
Am I
okay.
done?
We have to get a motion to extend the minutes, because you're over your 3 minutes.
I wasn't turning on my watch. I'm sorry.
That's okay, Mr. Lippian.
I'll make the motion. Not every day you get to hear from a commissioner in these chambers.
I don't know about that.
Moved and seconded.
Okay,
Go
well,
ahead,
thank
Mr.
you. Thank
Go ahead,
you all.
Go
I
ahead,
just want to
Commissioner
give you
Moore.
guys an update on all the positive things that's going on. I was actually here a year ago. Well, it wasn't a meeting, though. It was my first public meeting with you guys. I was here a year ago, kicking off the project with Reeser on all those housing. You guys the media was here. I was happy. It was 450 homes that were going to be built, and that was a year ago. That's kind of why I'm here to support what's going on. I'm all about partnerships. I'm all about working together. And as a county, we have assets like the Port Authority. And that Port Authority, by having the Port Authority at the county, it's helping us with the mall. It's helping us with a mega site. It's helping us with the development. We had the largest fee we ever made in the state of Ohio working with Ford with a $171 million bond. So if finances is an issue, which it always is, the county's here to help and form that partnership, because housing's an issue. Because if you don't have a supply of housing, I've talked to Mr. Armstrong, when you don't have a lot of houses, you're paying way too much rent for what you're getting. So we need more housing. Now, what's going to happen with what we're doing along Baumhart Road, we're going to be putting in a wastewater treatment plant, and the development that's going to change from this county, what's swinging in by Strongsville and the townships, is going to eventually, the next 3 to 4 years, be going down Baumhart Road, and that's where the growth is going to happen for housing. Because with the thousands of jobs that are coming, the mall, the mega site, is, like I said, it's close to 3,000 to 5,000 jobs. We know with I can't say the company, but the vendors that are going to support Ford, we're looking at 2,000 jobs, which we just found out today. We need housing, and we need you to work with us. If you need help, we're here to help. The Port Authority is here to help. And, that was one of those things I'm proud of. I helped create it 24 years ago in a bipartisan effort. And I'm proud to say that today, it's the reason why a lot of companies are moving here. And we got a great county. And thank you for being great neighbors. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yep.
Appreciate you coming. Mr. Tolet.
Through you.
Commissioner Moore, just on one, you don't have to come back up. On a personal note, I've been president of the MRDD nonprofit board for years. You've been an active participant in that and have never shied away and have worked with them, and thank you.
That's all the petitions from the lobby.
Petitions and remonstrances from council members.
There are none.
I'm going to kind of interject here just to kind of make a statement. During last Finance Committee meeting in regards to the Elyria Municipal Court salaries, there was a letter that was circulated to the Finance Director in regards to, per the ordinance, to pay the court and muni court employees their salary. So I had went over and talked to Municipal Court Rothgary and Judge Bennett and Judge White to see if we can't pull back on the order that was put in place by Mr. Rothgary. And they agreed to do that. And so I told them that we would work with them here in the near future to kind of come to an understanding and agreement and a path moving forward with what we can do. So I appreciate that, them taking the time out to communicate with me. I just wanted to express that to the council members and to the community, because it's not a good look with the potential of government agencies potentially going down a path of a lawsuit. So I was appreciative of that, to have them come in and talk so we can talk and so that we can move forward here down the road. So I just kind of wanted to let everybody know that. Also, with that being said, at this time, we're going to go into executive session for pending admitted litigation. So at this time, can I have a motion to go into there?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Roll call vote. We're going to go through this right now. Then we'll come back through.
Mr. Callahan.
Aye.
Mr. Sierra.
Aye.
Mr. Armstrong.
Aye.
Mr. Oswald.
Aye.
Mrs. Mitchell.
Aye.
Mr. Tolet. Mr. Lippian.
Aye.
Mrs. Sawerka.
Aye.
Mr. Schneider.
Aye.
Mr. Stewart.
Aye.
10 ayes.
So at this time, I'd ask the general public to please step out. Continue on with the meeting. Reports of standing and special committees.
There are none.
Resolutions, first reading.
Sponsored by Community Development. A resolution adopting the report of the Elyria Economic Development Committee.
Mr. Schneider.
Mr. President, I ask that this resolution be passed in its first reading under suspension of rules.
Second.
Second by Mr. Tolet. Is there any further discussion?
Question.
Ms. Sawerka.
Mr. President, when came to committee, number 5 was to be amended to say agreement should continue. It's not on the attachment. I just want to make sure that when the final document is done, you recall that conversation?
Yes.
So we just need to make sure that when the final document is pursued, that number 5 was also the agreement should continue, but it wasn't on the paper that Mrs. Amobayed gave us. Thank you.
Yeah, if you refer to the committee meeting, it was discussed and then
Through you, Mr. Terry, it appears that community development or whomever did it wasn't revised, so we'll see to that. I'm going to
It's a
notate it
typo.
right now. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? On the suspension, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. On the passage, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Resolution 2025-19. Sponsored by Finance, a resolution finding that the city has unfit for municipal use certain city property.
Mr. Tolet.
Mr. President, I ask that this resolution be passed in its first reading under suspension of rules.
Second.
Second by Mr. Schneider. Is there any further discussion?
Question.
On the suspension, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. On the passage, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Resolution 2025-20. That's all resolutions first reading.
Resolutions second reading.
There are none.
Resolutions third reading.
There are none.
Ordinances first reading.
Sponsored by Finance, an ordinance authorizing the Safety Service Director of the City of Elyria to dispose of certain property that is unfit for municipal use.
Mr. Tolet.
Mr. President, I would ask that this ordinance be passed in its first reading under suspension of rules.
Second.
Second by Mr. Schneider. Is there any further discussion?
Question.
On the suspension, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. On the passage, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Ordinance 2025-40. Sponsored by Finance, an ordinance authorizing a professional services agreement with Squire Patton Boggs LLP for legal services and declared an emergency.
Mr. Tolet.
Mr. President, I ask that this ordinance be passed in its first reading under suspension of rules and declared an emergency.
Second.
Second by Mr. Snyder. Is there any further discussion?
Question.
On the suspension, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. On the emergency, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. On the passage, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Ordinance 2025-41. Sponsored by Finance, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to advertise for bids and enter into a contract for the 2025 emergency sanitary and storm sewer repairs and declare an emergency.
Mr. Tolet.
Mr. President, I ask that this ordinance be passed in its first reading under suspension of rules and declared an emergency.
Second.
Second by Mr. Schneider. Is there any further discussion?
Question.
On the suspension, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. On the emergency, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. On the sanitary, on the passage, sorry. Get that sanitary in. On the passage, all those in
sanitary
favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Ordinance 2025-42.
A lot of sanitary going on.
Sponsored by Finance, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to apply for and enter into a water pollution control loan fund agreement with the Ohio EPA Division of Environmental and Financial Assistance for the Gulf Road Pump Station project and declare an emergency.
Mr. Tolet.
Mr. President, I ask that this ordinance be passed in its first reading under suspension of rules and declared an emergency.
Second.
Second by Mr. Schneider. Is there any further discussion?
Question.
Question's been called. On the suspension, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. On the emergency, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. On the passage, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Ordinance 2025-43. Sponsored by Finance, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to advertise for bids and enter into a contract for the Gulf Road Pump Station project and declare an emergency.
Mr. Tolet.
Mr. President, I ask that this ordinance be passed in its first reading under suspension of rules and declared an emergency.
Second.
Second by Mr. Schneider. Is there any further discussion?
Question.
On the suspension, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. On the emergency, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. On the passage, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Ordinance 2025-44.
Mr. Clerk, I'm going to step out for the next item here due to an apparent conflict of interest.
Sponsored by Finance, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to apply for and enter into a water pollution control loan fund agreement with the Ohio EPA Division of Environmental and Financial Assistance for the Lowell Street Sanitary Sewer Extension Project and declare emergency.
Mr. Tolet.
Madam President, I would ask that this ordinance be passed in its first reading under suspension of rules and declared an emergency.
Second.
Second by Mr. Snyder.
I'm going to go ahead and abstain.
Okay,
I'll call for the question.
thank you. On the suspension, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? On the emergency, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? On the passage, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
So
You want me to get Mr. Sanitary?
One
Oh, wait,
moment.
wait.
Law
Through you, point of order, Madam President. I believe there were 8 for the suspension. I'm looking at Mr. Bruning. However, the emergency failed due to lack of the requisite 9 votes. So this will pass, but it'll go into effect after the requisite 30 days.
We had 2 abstentions and 9 yays.
Through you, Mr. President, Ms. Davis is absent.
Oh. Hold on, let me take my shoes off, please. I apologize.
Ordinance 2025-45. Sponsored by Finance, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to advertise for bids and enter into a contract for the 2025 street sweeping program for the city of Elyria and declare an emergency.
Mr. Tolet.
Mr. President, I would ask that this ordinance be passed in its first reading under suspension of rules and declared an emergency.
Second.
Second by Mr. Snyder. Is there any further discussion?
Question.
On the suspension, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. On the emergency, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. On the passage, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Ordinance 2025-46. That's all ordinances first reading.
Ordinance's second reading.
Sponsored by Community Development, an ordinance granting a conditional use permit pursuant to Chapter 1135 of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Elyria, Ohio, to 1000 Lowell LLC for a barber shop / salon at real property located at 1000 Lowell Street, Elyria, Ohio.
I declare this, we can just say it's just a second reading, right? Public hearing is scheduled for, because we've already had the public hearing. Public hearing is scheduled for 4/21 of 2025 at 7 p.m.
That's all ordinances second reading.
Ordinance's third reading.
There are none.
Committee calls.
Community Development requests the Law Director, Safety Service Director, Building Inspector, and Engineer on Monday, 4/14, beginning at 6 p.m. Joint CD Finance requests the Mayor, Law Director, Finance Director, and Safety Service Director and Engineer on Monday, 4/14, immediately following CD. Finance requests the Mayor, Law Director, Finance Director, Safety Service Director, and Engineer on Monday, 4/14, immediately following the joint. Utilities request the Mayor, Law Director, Finance Director, Safety Service Director, and Engineer on Wednesday, 4/9, beginning at 6 p.m. And Strategic Planning requests the Mayor, Safety Service Director, Finance Director, and Law Director on Monday, 4/21, immediately following council meeting.
Okay. Miscellaneous and unfinished business. Finance Director Pulaski, then Mr. Lippian.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would ask that you refer to the next Finance Committee of Council, the matter of maturing and rollover of existing general bond anticipation notes.
So that's for the 14th?
Yes.
Okay, very
Got to
good.
have it done next week and ordinance passed on the 21st so the 30-day period can start running.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Lippian.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. President. When I asked questions a few months ago relating to Law Director Deary, I was inquiring. A resident came in today, Baye from Vermilion, brought these back to our attention and brought up some pretty alarming concerns. Is there going to be an opportunity for the Law Director to address the challenges she brought to the charter. I think it was section 7.03. Out of respect to the law director, I'm sure there's an opposing point of view, and I'm just wondering if we might hear it or if she has an opportunity to defend herself from some of the alarming concerns that were brought up.
Through you, Mr. President, I believe that I have expressed my stance on this matter, but just to reiterate, based on what the charter states, yes, council may provide, as it seems fit, any assistant attorneys, whether that be prosecutors or law directors, to my office, and any special prosecutors. That includes any professional services in my budget. I believe that due to the fact that the special prosecutor that was brought up earlier this evening for the matter which was filed in Elyria Municipal Court against former prosecutor J.D. Tomlinson, the special prosecutor that was appointed was paid for out of those proceeds. In that situation, council already did approve that by approving my budget and putting those funds in my budget. So that is my stance. I will furthermore see to it that the records request that was made from the podium earlier this evening as far as how many felonies were filed in Elyria Municipal Court in the last calendar year of 2024 will be fulfilled. I believe that is something that I will need to request of the Muni Clerk of Courts. However, they do keep that data. So once I do get that information, I will respond to Ms. Byer.
Anything else?
Mr. President, seeing none, I'll make a motion for adjournment.
Second.
Moved and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Good night.
I find this stuff.